unboxing every LEGO minifigure from the spookiest CMF series ever. And then we're building a haunted house for them to live in. These Series 14 blind bags are over 10 years old now and very expensive to track down, so I really hope I don't get any duplicates. But the first figure we have to look at today is... ooh, the vine plant monster. So I had about a third of these figures as a kid growing up, and I've used this face for many a thumbnail. But this big, giant, leafy lip plant mouth is where it's really at. You get this beautiful dual molded pink interior with the tongue, and then all the molded leaf veins on the back, which connects to this back printing. You can see the vine wrapping around him, and you actually follow it all the way around his body. So it goes from there to there, all the way there, and then even on the side of his leg. Very spooky, and I think this is the first time these vine pieces were recolored in lime, so that's always cool to get. I believe this series, Series 14, was the very first one to be themed like this. On the packaging, you can see this Monsters tagline. Since then, we've gotten party costumes in Series 18 for the 60th anniversary of the minifigure, Christmas costumes in Series 23 for the 90th anniversary of LEGO, Series 26 was space themed, and I still need to do something with it, and rumor has it that Series 28 will be animal costume themed, but you didn't hear it from me. What you did hear from me is that the second figure is, ooh, a zombie pirate, cool. Now this figure I did not have growing up, so this is the first time I've seen some of his old tattered printing on his pirate coat. Any back printing? No, that's okay. There's a dual molded leg though, with a peg leg. That's fancy. I'll give you a look at his face print before I cover it up with a beard, but he's got a gold tooth in there, a very sad looking eye patch, and some stubble. Kind of a 6 o'clock shadow, or 6 feet under shadow. This is definitely a new color for this beard piece, or it was at the time, and maybe even just a new beard piece entirely. Very short, very proper for a man of his stature. We got the classic orc sword that he's wielding. That definitely fits for him. And is there any printing on the hat? There is. Oh, it's a skeleton. That's funny. It's like skull and crossbones, because all pirates have that, but it's even scullier and crossbonier. This is one of a couple of zombified minifigures we have coming up. Could it be the next one? Let's find out. Figure number 3. Ooh, there's like some cardboard in here. Oh, why is this? Uh-oh. It's a vampire queen. It has this cool vinyl cutout for the cape. That's kind of neat. I've never seen this before. Oh, I almost thought I broke it, but it comes in 2 parts. We're all good. Let's look at the rest of the parts. Look at this. Okay, so this is the old style skirt where it's just a 2x2 slope piece that attaches to the minifigure body. But that printing is crazy. Someone could do like a Madam Web figure with this. But she's got some very purpley eyeshadow and this beehive haircut. Was this the first time this was introduced? I never know when it comes to these old series, but it looks very nice on her. And a red spider. You don't see those every day. This is the old kind of spider too. Before they made them a little bit too realistic, if you ask me, this gives me the creeps. And actually, I don't have a red one of the old type, so that's awesome. And of course, I forgot the cape. I drew attention to it, and I still didn't do it. But even though it's a little stiff getting it on there, because it's all plasticky, it's very thick. Is her neck gonna like float above her head a few inches? Yeah, kind of. There we have the vampire queen lady. Oh, that's sick. But this is the first figure that we can directly compare to one of the figures from the new Creator 3-in-1 Haunted House set. We'll build the actual house later, but it also comes with 5 minifigures, loosely based on the Monster Fighters LEGO theme, which released a few years before Series 14. And one of those is this lady, another vampire lady. So right off the bat, she's a little bit shorter because 1, she doesn't have the giant cape that's adding a little extra length to her neck. And 2, it uses the new skirt piece versus this one. So I'll try to give like a fair ranking comparing the old with the new. And honestly, this one's close. I really like this hairpiece, probably more than this one. It doesn't come with a cape, but the hairpiece would kind of interrupt with that. It comes with back printing, which is almost better than a cape, and the new skirt piece. So I'm gonna give this one to the creator figure, because that set needs all the help it can get. And as long as we're talking about vampires, I did want to compare this one to the Series 25 Basil the Batlord figure. Look at those faces, they're the exact same. I wonder if she could wear the helmet and it would look the same. Kind of. This is like the female version of a Fright Night. Sorry, neither of these are Series 14 minifigures. Let's move on to the next one, which is actually a Series 14 minifigure. And that will be, ta-da! Ooh, another thing I cut into almost. It is, ooh, the fly guy! I love this one. This figure only comes with 4 pieces, but all of them are perfect. I guess the legs are kind of boring. They just have like weird fly hairs on them. You know how flies are. The torso has this incredible lobster claw. We get these fairy wing pieces introduced in a dark color for the first time, if I can get it on his neck. And the crowning jewel, this amazing dual mold, is it tri-molded head with these clear red compound eyes. These antennae are rubbery and it's so amazing. Plus it has cool lore connected to another figure coming up. I'm glad there's not a comparison in the creator set because this would win hands down, or claw hands down. But let's buzz on to the next figure to see what this one is. All right, it's the scientist, the one I mentioned. Okay, no, I didn't do this on purpose, but yeah, this guy has a bottle, a little cool Erlenmeyer flask bottle. This is the first one that was opaque, by the way. All the other ones were clear, but it has a little fly elixir symbol on it. So my headcanon is that this mad scientist gave this normal dude a little drink, and then he turned into a fly monster. A scene which I actually depicted in my very first video over 8 years ago now. But I am ridiculously excited to try something. So this figure, we'll look at the lab coat first. It's got these magenta splatters that perfectly match the vial, but you don't understand. This is not his head. This is half of his head. This is his head, which extends it by at least double, and it has these cool googly glasses that I know Robin in the Lego Batman movie used this trick. He's got this amazing male pattern baldness. His forehead is ginormous. And I have been wondering for 10 years. I had this figure growing up, and I have been so curious. Can you put one of these forehead pieces on another one of these forehead pieces? This is like a big moment for me. You don't even understand. All right, here we go. Let's zoom in. Come on. Come on. Boom. Yes. Oh, that was worth the decade-long wait. This is incredible. These eyebrows look like a mustache. He's a 4-eye, or actually, would he be 8 eyes if you call the glasses each an eye? I need to get as many more of these forehead pieces as I can to see how tall we can get this guy, because this is phenomenal. I am absolutely leaving this guy as is, and we're gonna move on to the next figure, which is, we can't top that, but we'll try. It's going to be, why is this always on the top? Ooh, the werewolf! Let's go! So this is a figure I have lots of comparisons to make. But first of all, let's just appreciate his very intricately printed plaid shirt there. What is his name? Kel? Interesting. He's got these scratches. They don't quite line up on the side of his legs. Any scratches on this side? No, but it's still cool. Dual molded. And then of course, this wolf piece, which I think was introduced in the Monster Fighters theme with this guy who I featured in my 100 Dogs video. And for some reason, I always thought the Monster Fighters one was a reference to the series, I wanna say 6 Lumberjack minifigure. But no, this guy also has the Kel on his shirt. So this is very clearly the same guy, just with a full moon. But this wolf head also appeared in the Ideas Pop-Up book set, which I own, but I still haven't built it yet. This Spider-Verse CMF, which someone sent amazing fan art of, by the way. And there's another new one in the Haunted House set. So it's time to compare. These two have very similar coloring right off the bat. This has printing on the top, this does not. Minus points for this one. Okay, this torso is admittedly less detailed, but very much funnier with the abs there. And then it's no contest on the legs. Not only does this have side printing, but it's also dual molded. This guy has a little bit of printing on the front. Oops, I was cleaning up the bags after I finished filming and I found this rubbery tail piece in there. So it's even better than the Haunted House one than I thought. A little bit unfortunate that there's that red line between the torso printing and this gray part, but hey, this is really cool. And it might even been the first time that it was introduced because I don't think it was introduced in the Monster Fighter series, so that'd be kind of cool if that was the case. It's very, very floofy and very rubbery. All right, back to the video. And oddly enough, they come with the exact same accessory, so that makes it 2 to 1. I'm gonna give this one to the CMF, but ooh, actually this has back printing too with the little scratches. Yeah, this guy definitely has a better torso. So far the score is tied 1 to 1, but the CMFs only get better from here and the Haunted House figures only get worse. So let's move on to the next figure, which is going to be, ooh, Frankenstein rock punker guy. Punk rocker, actually, not rock punker. But whatever his name is, I do really appreciate this guy. His smile is very smug. He's got the lock wrapped around his neck there. Shock and roll, interesting. Maybe he's a punk shocker. And a shocker to no one, but his little head cap elevates his figure so much. This was first introduced way back in series 4, and I think this is the first time it was recolored to this olive color. And you could potentially use this guy to make custom orc faces. That's honestly scarier than what it was originally. Oh, I like this though. I guess the series 4 Frankenstein's monster could also be used as one of these sand green fantasy era trolls. But enough of comparing it to this figure. Let's compare it to this one from the Haunted House set. Okay, I actually do want to see all 3 of these lined up. That's fun. This is the only guy with band-aids. This scar kind of goes all the way across, and this guy has neither. So that's minus points. I do appreciate this guy's head. Its torso looks pretty much identical to this old one, just with thicker line art. And anything on the legs? No. No, oh, there is something on the back. It doesn't say shock and roll, but at least it's better than this one. I'd honestly say this one is close. Actually, I didn't mention the dual molded arms either. But Mr. Shock and Roll also comes with a guitar, which is printed with this cool bat pattern on it. So sorry, buddy, you never stood a chance. We're not even halfway done yet. I forget these older series have 16 figures instead of the new 12, but this figure will put us halfway and we can finally open the sheet that I've been holding off on. But it is a zombie cheerleader. Similar to the pirate zombie, this quirky zoomer puts a little pep in her step. I don't know why I said that. But she's got these pigtail pieces I've never seen before with a little tiny little detail. They didn't have to do that. They printed the dark green hair tie there on both sides. That's just cool. But the coolest part of any cheerleader is of course her pom-poms. And we got a new dark green color of them. Oops. So I believe this is the third or fourth color for the cheerleader and corresponding pom-poms we've gotten. The very first minifigure series, Series 1, had a blue cheerleader. Series 8 had a red one. And I want to say there's a Toys R Us exclusive one that was a regular green. And I just had to look up what letter was on the green one's torso. It's a J. So with all of them together, it spells jams, which I just find hilarious. Comment jams down below, sorry. There was actually another Series 1 minifigure that was zombified like this. The Skater Dude. Because exclusive to a book, you could get this amazing figure, which has the same outfit and haircut as this guy, but just he's been through some stuff. He crashed on a skateboard a few too many times. I'm pretty sure this is every zombie now, but let's take a look at the sheet to double check. Ooh, I don't know if this is the very first one. I as a kid, I despised when they added all this extra stuff on the back. This might be one of the first ones they were promoting their minifigure online game, which is offline now. You can see a few instructions for a couple of them coming up and the Vampire Queen that I had to figure out myself. Okay, here it is. Does it even have the monsters branding on the sheet? That's interesting, it doesn't. I want to see at least the space one did, but you can get some sneak peeks for all the 8 figures coming up at the end of the video, and it looks like, oh no, there is one more zombie. Okay, so we have a little bit of something to look forward to for all you zombie fans out there. But is this that, in fact, thing? It is... No, it's not. It's the Purple Witch. I could cross-reference the sheet I just looked at to figure out how to put this on, but I think I'll just freehand it. That sounds like a smart idea. See, piece of cake. We can sandwich that in with this very spooky torso. Okay, for some reason this reminds me of a Halloween decoration my grandma always used to put up. It was this freaky gaggle of witches that you could push a button and their eyes would glow and make this sound. I was simultaneously sad and relieved when that thing finally died. But anyways, we can give her classic witch's broomstick and a cat. Okay, that's upsetting actually. I literally yesterday made an order of a bunch of Lego cats for a secret project I'm working on. And this was definitely one that I paid like $5 for. So now I'm gonna have a duplicate, that's unlucky. But we can add her head, I'd imagine would be useful for like a Fiona custom minifigure maybe. And her pointy hat. This might have been the first time that they had the hair dual molded onto the hat like this. I know the Sanderson Sisters Cottage introduced another couple cool pieces like this that Tasha the Wish Queen used. But yeah, definitely an improvement over Series 2. But something I'm very curious to hear your opinions on in the comments is, do you like theme series like this? That question's been on my mind a lot lately since we're getting 2 series right almost back to back that have very specific themes, being the space in Series 26 and the animal in Series 28. I'm kind of on the fence about them. On one hand, if you like a theme and you get a whole minifigure theme dedicated to the theme, you get figures like this that you might not otherwise get. You might actually get this in another theme. This is the tiger costume lady. But on the other hand, if you don't like a theme, that means that none of these figures are for you. Whereas if they just did one spooky figure and one animal costume figure and one space figure in a normal non-themed series, then everyone's happy. But for themed series like this, it makes some people very happy and it makes some people just skip series entirely. Can I count this as one of the 100 cats? Because technically she is wearing a cat costume. Also let me know that, but more importantly, let me know your thoughts on the theme series, because I still don't know where I land myself. I should probably talk about this actual figure too. Very stripy, very fun. This tail piece, I think, is the first time it was introduced. Also used in Tigger, another stripy tiger. Obviously I prefer this amazing molded head, but it's kind of cool that you could build your sig fig to have this as a costume, maybe, if you wanted to. This is like one of the ones where it's a Halloween, it's clearly a Halloween costume, whereas some of these are like monsters. I would say this is a costume. This, I think he's just mad. That's no costume. And actually, I forgot. I was going to compare these figures because they're very similar. This is another Series 4 Mad Scientist. But yeah, these two go very, very well together. It's like Dr. Doofenshmirtz and Rodney. Both their pharmacist lab coats are splattered with, he doesn't have the flask with him, but they're chemicals of choice. And they deliver in the hair department. But anyways, yeah, this is a fun costume figure, although not as fun as it could have been to have the whole enclosed head. But I keep yapping. Let's just move on to the next one, which is... Bigfoot! I found him! Feel free to screenshot this part of the video if you want to take a picture of Bigfoot. And look at this. They printed his big feet on his little Lego feet. That is such a funny detail. He has hardly any other detail besides that. Well, obviously this head is amazing, but nothing like below it, nothing on the legs other than the toes. This is the definition of simple because it can be. But then he also has a camera, which I think is so funny because people are always trying to take and fake pictures of Bigfoot. But this Harry Henderson headpiece was first introduced in the Series 11 Yeti minifigure. And what's the deal with this? They gave this guy way more printing. This guy... Maybe it's just because the photo of him was blurry, so they didn't know the details to work off of. But this guy has all the printed detail on his belly, even has a printed chest. That actually really surprises me to see a drop in quality like that only, what is that, 3 series later? But it was also used in this Lego Chima Beaver, which they didn't bother to like remold the teeth or anything, so it just looks ridiculous. And then a very similar mold was used in the Series 27 Boogeyman, who should be getting his video in less than a week. But overall, sadly, a weak execution for a really good idea, but what will the next figure have in store for us today? Let us find out on the B. You're watching the B2. Dun, 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 dun. It's the Ghost Girl. I'm kind of upset I can't cut that out of the video now because I can't redo the unboxing, but I'm not as sad as this girl. This girl is the... I actually don't know her actual name. I'm gonna call her the Wailing Wraith.
You looking for someone?
But this is an amazing hairpiece. It's transparent, so you can kind of see her head beneath there. And it's just all ever so ghostly. You even see the ghostly detail on the back. It mostly gets covered up. This guy has all the... Oh, no, I'm not gonna make comparisons. You never compare your children, but I might cut that part out of the video. We've got this ghostly leg thing. This piece is amazing. It's marbled, so which is harder, I think, to do than dual molding. Partially transparent, partially the sand green color that's kind of like all interspersed together. And it's this crazy geometrical pattern of organic, ghostly ghost matter. They've reused this piece to such great effect in a lot of Ninjago ghost figures. And I'm curious to see how this compares to the haunted house ghosts. Oh. Okay, to be fair, this is very funny. This is like a guy with a sheet over his head. And they very wisely de-emphasize the point that the sheet kind of comes to. This is the old ghost, and it's a little bit not great. But they also changed the mouth. This is the classic frowny one. This one's kind of like, ooh, wiggly. And I also have this one that's smiling somewhere. It came in the Wolfpack Tower set that my mom found years ago at a garage sale. But anyways, this is also made of the new glow-in-the-dark material, which I hear is way better than the old kind. This one doesn't glow in the dark, although admittedly, it's so much better. So I'm gonna see how this looks in the dark. We're gonna hold it up to a light to charge it and see how it does. All right. Boom. That is kind of impressive, actually. You can see the old ghost. Well, they're kind of the same, honestly. And I actually like the detail on this. You can see the folds of his sheet better. But anyways, I'm using this as a flashlight to find, there's the ghost. This is what she looks like in the dark, so I do have to give a point to that actually looks really cool. The glow on her face and her cool molded ghost legs. I'm still giving the glow in the dark point to this one, but that's the only point it gets. This figure is just so much cooler overall. It's now 3-1. The CMF's already won best of 5, but we'll make this last one worth 2 points to make things interesting. We've reached the final 4. If you haven't found your favorite from the series yet, maybe this one just might be it. It is the Gargoyle. I recently bought this new Gargoyle piece, so I'm very excited to compare it to the real minifigure. All those little dots on his torso, you could argue it looks messy, but it definitely looks like stone. This is a stone statue, so you can see it's even cracked in a few places. Has a terrifying face. That looks like General Grog without his little front jaw. Let's see how they compare. Well, obviously it's way more detailed, but yeah, it's a troll. He's awesome. They're even printed these horn pieces. Well, the horns and the ears. Wow. The crack, I just noticed, the crack goes from the helmet to the face. This is next level engineering. And then as always, I forgot the wings that go on the back. These aren't printed. That would have been wild if these were printed, but for once I understand. This is a very awkward shape to print, so I won't whine too much about it. But this figure on the whole, very fun. I like it better than this one. This one's not printed. I can whine about that. But I'm very happy this figure inspired the villains in the second wave of Nexo Knights. They're kind of gargoyle themed with like a slightly different head mold than this, but very, very fun. It just hurts my throat a little bit, so let's take a breather and move on to the final third figure, which is The skeleton costume boy! Okay, this might be my favorite one of the series because it's just it's very Lego, you know? Because it uses minifigure parts, but it depicts a Lego minifigure skeleton, which ironically is the last figure in the haunted house set. And yeah, there's zero contest here. This is so much cooler. We get these in tons of sets. But you can see all the details from the rib cage, the side of the arm, the hands are like the hand of the skeleton. That's cool. You can see the legs. I feel like they could have done this differently where it's only printed on the side and then the toes are on the front. Maybe it would have looked weird if it was on the side and the front. I don't know. But then the back has the back side of the ribs and then his little mask is tied on there. This is so fun. Plus they recolored this pop piece to be orange and printed a little happy pumpkin face on it. It's a plastic candy pail. And he can go around trick-or-treating with all his costumed friends. Now, I'm a Bible-believing Christian and I never know how to feel about Halloween. It really comes down to the individual's conviction. I'm leaning towards staying away from it myself, but if anything, it's an amazing outreach opportunity. Shout out Trunk or Treat. So I'll use this Halloween video as an outreach opportunity to say that if you're feeling lost or hopeless, if nothing from this world can satisfy you, Jesus saves. We've got 2 figures left and then we'll build the haunted house for all these guys to live in. But this one is going to be the zombie businessman. This guy had a quarterly sales meeting that did not go well. He's got his, the sad glasses. This is shattered. This just doesn't have the lens. The cheerleader zombie's happy. The pirate zombie's mad. This guy's just depressed. I feel bad for him. We've got his disheveled hair and then a briefcase. Plus whatever this is. Ooh, a newspaper. I always love to collect these newspapers and use them in videos. Maybe I won't use this one though. The Zombie Times. Brains. Maybe he's a newspaper. Maybe he's Clark Kent. He works at the Daily Planet or the Zombie Times and he's actually a superhero. And he takes his glasses off and he's unrecognizable. At least that's my headcanon. But there we go, all 3 zombies from the series, plus this bonus one from a book. I don't know when I would have shown this otherwise. But there's only 1 figure remaining. I bet you can't guess who it is. I bet you can't see him on the bag. It is the little goobery ghoul. Okay, this is such a tiny hole. I thought this was the neck hole at first. I'm actually confused. How do you, what is this? I need to look at the sheet. Oh no, wait, did I cut the, no, I think you're supposed to, it's supposed to be one piece. No, that's a bummer of a way to end the video. I don't know if this was cut before or I cut it while opening the bag. That's sad. Well, I'll just use the back side of the cape and then pretend like that didn't happen. But yeah, this is the, oh no, it cut again. Well, this is gonna be a sad figure because it's not gonna have the coolest part of him. I love this head. It kind of cheers me up a little bit, which is also glow in the dark, by the way. He comes with a silvery chain. Oh, I wonder how expensive that piece is on the aftermarket. A cool gray hood. I don't know if I have one of these in this color. And it must be in the bag still. Another one of these marbled pieces, this time in gray for his ghostly leg. So that at least completes it a little bit. But man, that stinks. That's one good side of boxes is because you can just open them without having to use a scissors and not worry about this. But this should have been in some sort of packaging like the cape, the vinyl cape. Oh well, I will put this on my Bricklink wish list, but for now I think we're gonna have to make do with what we have. By the way, this doesn't, you can't center it on the base plate, which is a little bit annoying. If you put it that way, maybe that's centered, but it's an odd center on an even base plate. But there we go. All 16 figures more or less ready to move into the haunted house that we need to build. And I heard this set was small in person, but man, is this thing small in person, especially for $90. You do get 5 figures, and while they aren't CMF level quality, I think it was unfair to expect that. They are very solid for what they are, sorry. And you can turn it into either a ghost train or a haunted pirate ship. Sorry, I'm not building that one. But the house itself is just tiny, especially if you close it up like this. It is kind of cool that it can be fully enclosed, but I don't even know if there's room in here for all 16 figures. We'll have the disappointed pirate zombie admiring this hat collection, Bigfoot hanging his photographs on the wall, the ultra forehead mad scientist is trying to turn this grandfather clock into a time machine so he can send this fly guy back in time to the first Thanksgiving to get flies off the menu. You're welcome. The zombie cheerleader is cheering on this one-man Frankenstein band at the pipe organ, and the zombie businessman could get a great ROI if he gets that red ruby onto his manager's desk by Monday. Ooh. That's probably all we can fit on the inside, but on the outside we can have the werewolf lifting his leg next to this tree monster. Wait, we can replace this boarded up window with the gargoyle and his son. I actually just now realized that this is obviously a spider lady and not a bat lady, but we'll put her up here in the belfry anyways. I used this clip piece to make it look like the witch is actually riding her broomstick and suspended it above the haunted house. These 3 trick-or-treaters are trying to decide who has to ring the doorbell. I think it's gonna be this guy. And we have the ghosts in the graveyard, mourning the loss of our dearly departed cloth piece. I really wish I wouldn't have cut this. And now that we've found spots for all 16 minifigures, we can banish these guys behind this gate I forgot to use. I've watched the Kenobi series, so I know that this is impenetrable unless they have a blaster to shoot the locks open. But there we go. Please let me know which figure is your favorite in the comments, and if you like unboxing videos like this, I've got dozens more where that came from, so go watch one of these.